the Order of the Round Table. And of course, we know the round table was a part of Arthurian legend, and so we look at the combination of putting. We're still trying to bring in where we're tying all these little things, as far as King Arthur and Princess Diana. But she actually came into their I guess their upkeep, or whatever you want to call it, the royal entourage, and she was just totally maintained away from anybody and everybody. And at the time that she married Charles, it was quite obvious that Charles had always loved Camilla, but yet there was some reason that Charles was never able to marry Camilla. Something was keeping him from marrying Camilla. There was some duty that he had to perform. So if you look at it, when Diana was a virgin, and when she married him, immediately she became impregnated, and it was not long before they were talking about that, she was going to be delivering a child. What most people don't know is that she tried to kill herself while she was carrying William, and she tried several times to do it, to the point that she threw herself downstairs to try and kill him, as if something she knew was wrong about all this. But at the same time, they put her on all kinds of medications, and they doped her up, and they did all this kind of weird stuff. But I find it interesting that when she delivered him, that she began to seem like that you could tell that there was already a problem between her and Charles. So it's almost like Charles had done his duty, and he was through with her. And we know that some of the things that she did on TV with, like, Jane Pauley, she actually told in tapes that she felt like that she had been used as a birthing chamber. And if you understand cloning, you understand from, like, Dolly, that was actually a cloned sheep, that she came from the udder cell of her mother, who had already passed. But she was carried by another sheep that had nothing totally genetic involved with her. And when she was delivered, she was the exact duplicate. I don't mean a twin, I mean a duplicate copy. So therefore, if for some reason Diana was trying to kill her and that baby, there was something going on that was bad. And so if she felt like she was a birthing chamber, then that makes you wonder, was she carrying a egg that had a cloned cell in it, which would not make them genetically connected to her or to Charles? And this is very interesting in the fact that they named him William Arthur. And if you look at his name, Will, Diana would not call him William, she called him Wills. She left off the I-A-M, which, if you say that, is I am. And what did God call himself? I am. What is William's second name? Arthur. I am Arthur. And so, if it was the possibility that there was a clone that was developed from a cell on the Shroud of Turin, and Princess Diana was in vitro fertilized, knowing that she was going to have the son, that was the deal, she had to bring about the son, and that child was born on the summer solstice, and that solstice is the constellation, or the astrological zodiac of Gemini into Cancer, the Gemini being the twin, that he was actually the twin of the man on the shroud, or was he the clone of the man on the shroud? It's interesting to me that she told, before she died, she told Jane Pauley that she knew that Charles never loved her before they were married. So she was going to have to go through with something that she didn't understand, or if she did understand it, she didn't understand it till the very last minute, and then she realized what had happened to her. But the whole time she said that she the whole wedding night, everything was very weird. She said that Charles, he read these black magic and psychological books and things like that. He was very involved in all that kind of stuff, and that he was still involved with Camilla the whole time behind her back. And then when they went to bury Diana, or actually before, she when she had broke up with Prince Charles, she was involved with Dodi Fayed. Well, now there was question whether she was pregnant with Dodi Fayed's son. If that was the case, and if William is a clone of that Shroud of Turin, then we'd be right back to where we were with Isaac and Abraham and Ishmael, and that was not going to work. So I fully believe that Diana was murdered, and if she was pregnant, that baby was killed or taken, because that would never work out if there was an Arab situation and Muslims involved in being a half-brother to that shroud image, if William is walking in the shroud image of Jesus. And the interesting thing, Diana died in a tunnel that was actually a blood site for the Diana goddess worship, and she died on the 13th pillar, which was really had been there all those years. I just find that just too hard to believe that she was actually blood sacrificed on that area. And if that was the case, then she was turned around and she was put in a black dress, like the Black Madonna. She was put a Catholic rosary in her hand, and she was not a Catholic. So here you're putting a Catholic rosary in the future king's mother's hand and burying her, which is most strange, the connection. And even Tony Blair, once he got out of it, he's turned and he's become a Catholic. So there was a connection there. And then interesting enough, there was a question about the paternity of Diana's child, Harry. And when her best friend interviewed her for her book, she said that Diana said that they had the blood test run of William and of Harry, but the comment was this: the blood, it was as it should be, but she never said who the father was. She said it was as it should be. So the connection to if William is a clone, then his blood was as it should be. And in doing the lineage back to King David, he would fit, because if he walks into the temple and proclaims himself to be king there in a newly built temple, we know that the Sanhedrin have already, reformed to build the temple back, and so everything is in place for that temple to be built. It will fit right next side of the Dome of the Rock without the court of the Gentiles. And that if that blood is correct and he can prove it, and you've got the Vatican that's got the blood, and they are the false prophet, and they bring that blood and say this is the man, then Satan could typically be riding in the Messiah's body. And if we believe what it says when it says that the desolation of abomination happens, and it will bring back the second coming of God, I cannot think of anything more awful than for Satan to be sitting in the flesh of the Savior in the temple.
Oh my goodness. I just got the willies. All right. That being said, Dr. Joy, what is it? Because we got probably about 7 or 8 minutes left here. What is it, with all this information now, that we can do as humanity? What is it that we can do?